Hey friends, if you're seeing this video, you've probably either purchased the STRONGFEET program or you're thinking about it, or you're just maybe curious about what my programs look like. So here is the first of many miniature DIY downloadable programs that I have created. This one is focused on building up foot strength. So I want to show you what you're getting. I'm just going to scroll through all of this stuff here because we're going to get to the how to use the program. There's a little overview here, but here is the main thing that I want you to see because I think it's easier to explain it by talking you through it than force you to figure it out just by reading. So basically, in each of the 4 workouts, there are movements, and you're going to decide which workouts you want to start with, how many times you want to do those workouts each week. And then you're also going to decide how many rounds of each movement and how long you're going to do each movement. So it's completely customizable to your preferences. These are recommended structures. You can totally just do whatever you want if you want, but here's some recommended structure for you. So you're going to choose one option from each of these 3 columns. So let's say you decide you want to just do the seated workout the first week, or maybe just forever. Maybe standing workouts just aren't working for you for whatever reason. You want to do the seated workout. You get to decide if you want to do it 1 to 3 times per week. And then you're going to decide how many rounds of each movement you're going to do. And you're going to decide how long you're going to do it. So in this situation, let me just say, like, you chose the seated strength workout. You decide you want to do it twice this week. And you're going to try to aim for 2 rounds of each movement. And you decide you want to start with just 30 seconds and see how that feels. And you can always go up later. So you've chosen seated strength. You want to do 2 rounds of each movement and 30 seconds of each movement. So you're going to go to the seated strength workout, which is the first one here. Each of these movements is a clickable link. It's going to take you to
seated marches can be done a lot of different ways.
Where I have a recording of myself doing the video. From there, you'll follow along. You can watch the video as many times as you need to, and then you will complete the movement. And you're going to go through 1 to 2 rounds, just depending on how you're feeling, for 30 seconds. So this first movement is this march. You're going to follow along with the video and then do it for 30 seconds. Then you can rest as needed. And then you can do it again 1 more time if you want to before you move on. And the next movement would be this quad extension. So we click on the little picture of me. It'll take you to a video of me doing the movement. You'll follow along. You'll do it for 30 seconds or so, and then rest and repeat before you move on. Another option would be to, instead of doing 2 rounds of the march before moving on to the quad extension, before moving on to the next thing, would be to just do all of the movements 1 round each. So 1 round of marches, 1 round of quad extensions, 1 round of the next thing and the next thing, all the way through the end, and then go back to the beginning and do a 2nd round of everything. This might be great if you're not sure if you can handle 2 rounds. Maybe you don't have time today for 2 full rounds, or maybe you're not sure how your energy is going to last. You can always just do 1 round of each thing and then go back to the beginning and do it again and repeat. If you wanted to go to 3 rounds, you could totally do that. So that's an example of how you would use this program. And it goes the same thing for each of these types of workouts and for each week. I've just provided a little bit of structure into how you could progress it if you wanted to. So you could start out with just doing the seated strength workout twice the first week for 2 rounds and 30 seconds. The next week, you could increase it to 45 seconds and keep everything else the same, 2 rounds, 2 times a week. The 3rd week, you could keep everything the same, but I'm recommending that you increase the frequency. So aiming for like 3 times a week, you could still keep it at 2 rounds and you could keep it at 45 seconds. And the 4th week, you could increase it if you wanted to, only if you're feeling good. You could increase it to 60 seconds for each exercise. You could keep it at 2 rounds, or you could go up to 3 or 4 if you want. And then the frequency could stay the same, or you could try it 4 times that week. So you see how you can use the same workout, but you're progressing it and making it more challenging each week. You also have the option to just wing it and do whatever makes the most sense for you that day. You totally can make this whatever you want it to be. Let me walk you through one other example of how you could use this program. You could decide that you want to try all of the workouts and you want to maybe do like the highest frequency possible because you're feeling really good and maybe you don't have any other exercise stuff that you're working on right now or any kind of movement practice, and your feet aren't really painful and you don't really have a whole lot of stuff that you're working around and you just want to like see what you can do with this program. So in that case, I would say, let's start with all of this variety. So there's a seated strength workout, there's a standing strength workout, there's a stability workout, and a stamina workout. So all of these 4 things, you're going to aim for 1 each the first week. So that's 4 different workouts during the week. You could aim for 1, 2, or 3 rounds of each movement. You might start with the 1, right, and go all the way through and see how you feel, and then decide how many rounds you want to do that day, depending on how hard it is, because the seated one is the easiest one and they do get progressively more difficult. So that by the time you get to the stamina workout, you might be like, oh, 3 rounds is a lot. Maybe I don't want to do 3 rounds. That's totally fine. So just pick per workout how many rounds you want to do of each thing. And then you can decide, do you want to do 30 seconds of each? Maybe start with that and see how you feel. And you could always do the first round of 30 seconds each. And by the second round, be like, oh yeah, I can totally handle this. I've got this. And you might increase to 60 seconds on the second round and the subsequent rounds if you wanted to. Again, could be literally anything you want, but this is just an example. So if you're following along in this structure, then the second week, you might try them all again 1 time. This time you might try 4 rounds of each, or you might keep it to 2 or 3 rounds so that you might try 75 seconds of each exercise instead of 60. So you're increasing the total volume of what you're doing. Week 3, you could try them all 2 times each. Now that's a lot. That's 8 workouts. So that would mean you would need to double up on a couple of different days. Potentially, I would definitely recommend you take at least 1 day off and not be doing foot stuff every single day. So check in with your body and see what you need to do with that. But you could try them all twice each. You might just do 2 rounds since you're increasing the volume or the frequency so much. You might just try 2 or 3 rounds. You might just try 45 or 60 seconds. You can kind of base that on how you're feeling. And then the 4th week, again, 2 times, but this time you could keep it the same, or you could increase the rounds a little bit, or you could go all the way up to 90 seconds per exercise, maybe especially on the ones that aren't like really isolated, because those isolated toe exercises and the seated workout are going to be probably really challenging to do 90 seconds. So maybe that wouldn't work. But for the stamina workouts or the stability stuff, you could do 90 seconds if you filled up to it. So you're just gradually progressing. Now, I don't recommend that you aim for that high of a volume if this is your first time with any kind of structured movement in a long time. It's probably going to feel overwhelming and it's probably not going to feel great on your feet. So when in doubt, do less. Less is more. Highly recommend pacing yourself. And what's cool is when you get to week 4, you can just go back to the beginning and do it all over again, exactly the same way, or you can go back to the beginning and level it up a little bit. So you choose what will work best for you. I hope you enjoy it.